hi there, YouTube viewers, all who are looking in on us to see how we're getting on in our trip. All I can say is it's amazing. I think we're all feeling tired tonight would be an understatement. And for Sister Elena, God is working my knees. She'll know the reason for that. Anyway, I think we all have something to say about our wonderful day today, don't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah. For me, when we visited the steps going up to the temple, the original steps going up to the temple that David used, and in Psalm 122 where it said, he rejoiced with those who said to him to go up to the house of the Lord. Well, if you see the steps that they had to go up rejoicing with hearts, for the Lord, they had a lot of steps to go up. And for me it was very poignant that we could actually now see the reality of the situation where the temple was high on Mount Moriah, and the town of David city of David was quite into the low down. What would you say?
Well, for me, when I was there, standing at the temple, just thinking, they had such amazing architecture. The rocks were or the stones were just so huge, and they were hand carving some of these stones out to put them there. So I was just contemplating, well, how many lives must have been lost building this place? How many people would have worked day and night to get this work done? So I was focusing on the work of the people who would have done this, knowing that what Dorothy said is true, that these people were just so joyful, and they were rejoicing all the way up to the temple. And when you see the hills that are there, they're not little hills. There are hills that go down into deep valleys. So these people are walking up, possibly with 2 and 3 kids they're carrying with them, and they're rejoicing, just singing praises to God through all of this. So just amazing to see what God has done.
I think that there's many things that affected me and positively, is that my feet walked the grounds where the Lord walked, and where we got to the street was Val del Rosa, where Christ had carried the cross. And for myself, it was difficult because I was helping somebody else, and I said, must have been when someone had said, carry Christ's cross. That was really, it hit my heart, and I thought, this is where all of our feet have walked. We're never going to be the same. And we can continue to keep talking about different places that we've been to, and but each place has touched each and every one of us. All the 34 of us that were there today. We can't explain it.
I think that we've all experienced the presence of God in a deep way. Maybe not every place we've visited, but somewhere along this walk we have met with God in a new and a most beautiful way. And today for me, when we went to Bethsaida Pool and St Anne's Church, and we all went into the church and we sang in the church, and the acoustics were phenomenal.
Amazing.
And it was just beautiful. And for me, when we came out of the church, I went and sat in the gardens. I didn't go down to see where the pool was. And as I sat there and had time with the Lord, I heard in the background the gardener working, tending to the roses. And I thought, Lord, that's you tending to the garden of my heart today. It was just beautiful and peaceful. The peace of Jerusalem was in that garden.
For me, with that, I think it was so profound because Dr. Phillips was saying how this man had been there for 38 years. He'd laid on that mat, and he just said, do you want to get well? And of course, this guy absolutely wanted to get well, and he said, well, pick up your mat and go. And he must have been arthritic. He must have had, atrophy in all of his muscles, and he picked it up and walked away. He didn't walk away with a stilt or a jerky movement. He just got up and walked away. So just how he heals us completely, when he tells us to do something and we want to be healed.
And he walked up to the temple.
He did. He walked up and prayed.
So he walked through to the temple, I beg your pardon.
Just says, he said that there's some people that do not want to be healed, and there are some that do want to be healed. And when Christ had healed, it was a Sabbath day.
Yes.
Now for me, it affected me because I grew up as an Adventist, and at least I understand now that it's not about the day; it's about the Lord. It's about serving Him. And then we went to, where was it next? The tomb.
We went to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre.
Yes.
So we got a chance to see, possibly because it's under dispute, possibly where Jesus was crucified, died, and was buried. And it was a beautiful place to be, just around all these people who believe what we believe, that He died and rose again. And rose again.
Yeah, I think.
Well, I talked a little bit about the Holocaust. To see the women that were the heads were completely shaved, the children that were torn away from the parents. They were down to their skeleton.
They're tough stories to actually go back and look at all the faces of the people who have been wiped off the face of the earth because somebody hated them so much. I looked at the shoes. There was a glass laden with a whole bunch of shoes that were burnt. They were left over from the remnants of what they had done. And God has not forgotten them. But you're going to listen to some of the other stories of other people who had a chance to walk through the Holocaust and hear what they had to say as well.
We've just been to the Yad Vashem Holocaust Memorial. It's really moving because it's the Holocaust Memorial that's in Israel. A few things struck me inside. One is that there's a saying that evil things happen when good men do nothing. And in this case, a lot of nations did precisely that. They turned the Jews away. There were a lot of people that died because they weren't given asylum in other countries. There were many who died because they simply gave up. There were many who died because man was really evil to them. We've done some really evil things, and there was a number of quotes from people who said, there was one woman who wanted to kill her child that was being born because the child would be born Jewish and have to suffer as she did. There was one woman who propped up her very ill sister because she didn't want to be left alone in the world. And at the end of the tour, there are a number of people who have been left completely alone in the world because they had no more family left. So this is a chance for the Jews, obviously, to remember their own history, but we have to remember history here too, in that every time that we think to do a good thing and don't do it, something like this, maybe not on this scale, could happen, because evil happens when good men do nothing.
Our last journey tonight, as we know, was the bus dropped us off at the Garden Tomb, which it was getting near dusk, and there was a real chill in the air, which we felt, and it was nice, yes. And this is the second place, or the alternative place, isn't it, where they say that Christ was crucified.
It's a garden tomb, and what the man had said is that, it could possibly be a place where he was buried, but nobody knows for sure, because we know that, Christ has risen from the dead, so that's what we're going to focus on. So it was enjoyable to hear what he had to say. It was placed on a hill called the Skull, and we actually had a chance to have our devotion there, but what we walked away with, that he has risen from the dead, so we're gonna leave that as a happy note, that the day started out where there were things that we were emotional about, we were sad about, but in the end, we are excited that he is alive.
He is alive. We went into this the tomb itself, where Christ was supposed to be, and where the rock had been moved and slid across, and we all had a chance to go in and take pictures. But on the door it said that, he is not here, he is risen.
Amen.
And we're so excited that our Lord is alive, he's real, and our God is so great. So we're going to, sing How Great Is Our God.
Join with us, please.
Yeah. Okay.
How great is our God, sing with me, how great is our God, and all will see how great